Alright, before I put this in, I actually do want to show you one other thing. There was a leak right here. So small you wouldn't have seen it. But I want to show you the gasket, what happens over time. You see how flat that is? I mean, you can barely feel a speed bump. If you look at the new pump, you can see where that sandwiches down and spreads out and creates the seal. So this is one of those things, you get about 10 years or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first, you might just want to do a water pump as a planned maintenance item rather than wait for it to go bad. You know, he didn't know this one was going bad till he heard a noise one morning and his bearing going away. And I'm not sure if that feels like plastic to me. The new one definitely has a different ting to it, but I think it might be cast. You can just hear the difference. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. Alright, let's get this thing in. You would not believe how much light power I'm trying to put down here so you guys can get a good shot. It blows my mind. Got almost 500 watts of lights here. This is the best view I got for you. Nice thing is I don't have to worry about a gasket slipping. Bad news, trying to figure out what bolt to start with. And we'll start with a short one. How does that sound? So short's going to be on the outside. Climb in and have lunch. At least if I can get two outer ones in, it'll be enough to hold the pump. Okay, that'll hold it. Then we'll get an outside short. Okay, now we start playing ring around the rosy with our bolt kit here. Okay, that's what I was talking about. If you get it in the wrong hole, this bolt ain't long enough. And let's see this one. Put it in that hole. Nope. Alright, let's test this one. Okay, that one's correct. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of thread sealant on this because a couple of these were oil stained. You don't need to get crazy with this stuff. Man, when I was training Kevin on automotive, he used to just put too much on. A little bit goes a long way. So that's about how much I put on it, and then as you're threading it in, it'll get to all the thread. Also, be sure to clean your bolts. I have a brush wheel, so I just turn it on and zip it through. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all these in loose. We don't actually set the gasket till they're all in. It's another one I had just a tiny bit of oil residue on it. Okay, now when we know those there. So for now, we'll just put the old bolt back in it until we're ready to torque it. Okay, we're going to do the short here. Now if you see a bolt that's clean like this, I didn't clean this bolt, you know it's not a through thread. I'm not going to worry about putting any Loctite on this stuff. Mostly because if this thing ever has to come off to have a timing chain done, you don't want the threads to seize and then have to find a timing cover. I don't know how it's going to be getting parts for V8s in the future, so I kind of think about those things. Okay, let's see if it goes there. It does. There's a short that went underneath the pump. Nope, that's a long. That's a short. That's a long. There's a short. Nope. Nope. I guess I'll just worry about our longs for now. See, like this one, a little bit of goop on it. Okay, dirty one came out of that hole. Let's see if the long one goes here. It does. Yeah, this one on the bottom is definitely tricky to get at. Okay, the only one we're missing. One here on the side, it should be a long. And it is. Goes all the way through the timing cover. This is where it might get a little tricky to figure out if you didn't keep track of your bolts. Yeah, that's going to be a short. We might have took out one extra that we didn't need, but I see the hole for that one right now. It's going to be this one right here. It's hard to tell with all the dirt this thing had in front. Okay. Now we just got a long one to figure out where it goes. Okay, and that takes care of all of our bolts. Now we're going to do a preload on them. We're going to just start pulling this pump in. We'll just kind of do an X pattern here. You'll start seeing when you're drawing it in too, some of these bolts will lose their tension that you just put on them. Very normal. Of course. Probably get this pretty close to just doing it by hand. Albeit we're not. We're going to get the torque wrench out. But you'll probably find them very close. Yeah, one thing about these bolts, they can be easily broken. Okay, I gotta get a deep socket on that one. Yeah, I don't know about no 30 foot-pounds. I would not try that at all. I mean, the thermostat only torques to like 9 foot-pounds. I don't quite remember what the rating is, but it wasn't very much. It was like 8.75 pounds. Not much at all. Wish I could see that one. Yeah, not very much at all. Yeah, these threads got a little boogered up in shipping. I hope that isn't a problem getting the fan clutch on. Alright, let me find out torque specs, get my torque wrench, and then we'll go from there. Okay, all the stuff I've read online, so these are 20 foot-pounds, but I don't know about that one. We're going to go with 15 and see how these bolts feel. Some forums I read said no more than 18, 20, they'll snap. So I don't know. I don't have an FSM or SM factory service manual to tell me. I know it didn't take very much to get these bolts off, so I can't imagine they're torqued up that much, because it is an O-ring. They're kind of just doing a half rear X pattern. There are a couple that were not equal. I think more so the lesson here is just make everything equal. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to get in here if you had to crank on a bolt to stop a leak, but when we do a pressure test, it should tell us right there. If you do 20 and snap a bolt, leave it in the comments so other people know that 20 is too much. It also helps to have a very accurate torque wrench too. This is a brand new one that I trust. Okay, we're gonna go to 18 foot-pounds or 19 foot-pounds. No, let's go back one. Let's go to 18 and see how these bolts feel. You can feel before a bolt snaps. Most of the time, like I've had one or two bolts, it just didn't take much, boom. Mostly exhaust bolts. That's the difference with these new vehicles when you work on them. Things have to be torqued to spec. The days are just, it's close enough or just over. I mean, there are probably some things you can still do. That's close enough. But like intake gaskets, these new style water pumps with O-rings, bust out the torque wrench. Save yourself some misery later. It's just not worth it. I'm going to do the big one last. Like these bolts feel pretty strong at 18. I might go to 19, 1 pound below, just to make sure if I do have a pound of indifference on this torque wrench, I'm not over torquing these bolts. Because it says if you have a model that has a bolt-on pulley, it's 19 foot-pounds. So I'm like, okay, why would you do the water pump 20 and fan clutch 19? Yeah, I would say these bolts are pretty well set. That's 19, they're not moving. I will use the inch-pound reader when I do the 9 foot-pound thermostat. Okay, make sure this odd duct down here is... Okay, we're going to leave it at 19 and then grab my deep socket. The actual timing cover bolts I was reading say 40 foot-pounds, which I thought was kind of odd because half of them are through this water pump. But there must be some different size bolts for that. Like that one feels a little squishy, but it's bigger. Okay, and this one that I took out that I didn't need to. Alright, she's all torqued up. I'll pull the radiator, do the heater hoses, and pretty much put her all back together, vacuum bleed it, pressure test it, start it up, see if her noise is gone.